back, run it 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 back. Lost through the bend, had to crawl back. Can't take no more L's, I need all that. Run off with a pack and get the dome crack. The four feel short, nigga four flat. Run it back, 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 run it back. Quit that little drop, now you hustling. They counted you out, now you bubbling. Took you some losses, but bounce back. Now they feeling for you like you good crack. Run it back, 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 run it back. Lost through the bend, had to crawl back. Can't take no more L's, I need all that. Run off with a pack and get the dome crack. The four feel short, nigga four flat. Run it back, 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 run it back.
Hello and welcome to a pop-up episode. This is episode 62, a surprise pop-up show out of nowhere. And in honor of Veterans Day, I want to bring some reality to the situation for military spouses. All right, whether that's married to an active duty military member or married to a veteran, I would like to dive into the world of military spouses and what they have to go through and what they have to deal with in terms of living with war veterans, taking care of war veterans, and being married to war veterans. All right. But before we begin, let's take a look at today's sponsors. Reaper Apparel Co. As you can see on the screen, you can use my code Sergeant WarDawg TV for 10% off your entire order. All right. The link for the Reaper Apparel Co. website is now featured in the ticker below. And remember, you can use my code Sergeant WarDawg TV for 10% off your entire order. Next, Peaceful Warriors. Peaceful Warriors takes veterans who may have lost their life's purpose or their life's mission and sends them to volunteer around the world. Peaceful Warriors can be found at peacefulwarriors.org. Next, First Form and First Form Outdoors. Now, remember, First Form is a fitness supplement company that can give you that extra boost that you need for your outdoor adventures. Whether it's hunting, camping, fishing, or shooting, you can turn to First Form for the additional supplements you need to sustain your energy level during your workout. All right. That concludes today's sponsors. Today in episode 62, the pop-up show, the surprise show, we are bringing you a military spouse by the name of Rita. Rita, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
All right. Now, Rita, we come to understand now in this post-Veterans Day pop-up show that we're doing, we want to discuss the hard work that you put in as a military spouse. All right. The hard work that you put in and having to deal with a war veteran and have a war veteran in your life after they've been to war and seen, horrendous things and done horrendous things. Bring you in to get a front row eyewitness account on what it's like to be married to an individual with PTSD from a war. All right. If you don't mind, give us a little bit about your history with your veteran. How long you've been married, or what area you live in?
Okay, we've been together 15 years. We've been married for 14 years. He is a veteran with PTSD. We have 2 kids together, and we currently live in Claremont.
Claremont is where?
Claremont, Florida.
Florida. Okay. All right. I got you. All right. Now, if you don't mind, start us off by talking about what it's like to be married to a war veteran with PTSD when they are sleeping. Is
What
that
it's like to be with a war veteran when they are sleeping. It's hard. I will not lie, it's hard. Some nights I'm like, okay, I can't sleep in here, and like I just want to like get my own space because they do have their bad dreams, they do have their bad moments. And when they wake up, they're like, I'm like, do you remember what happened? And he's like, no, what happened? I'm like, well, you had a bad dream. And I tell him what happened. And he's like, okay, don't tell me, I don't want to hear about it. But I tell him because he don't believe me. And sometimes I have recorded him to show him for proof because he thought I was lying. And
really? You had to break out a camera? You had to break out proof?
Rick got the camera. He speak fluent Arabic when he sleep. He speak fluent Arabic. He didn't believe me. I broke out the camera and showed him. Like
Wow.
our daughter one time was like, "Mommy, what is Daddy saying?" I'm like, "He's just having a bad dream. It's okay." And he didn't believe me either until our daughter said something.
Wow. It's
Yeah,
that serious, huh? So you deal with a war veteran that actually talks in another language in his sleep.
yeah.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know I didn't know it was going down like that. Um let's see how bad does he get with his dreams and nightmares?
Oh my God! Like he's like having like straight conversations, like cursing people out and calling. What do you guys call that? Breaker, like whatever guys code y'all be saying over the little thing. He be saying all of that. I'm like, oh,
He
okay.
was acting
He's
like
saying
he's talking on
F,
the radio.
yeah, and he's saying the F word and the B word. I'm like, what are you talking to? And sometimes I'm like, wake up. Wait, you having a bad dream. Wake up. Like, oh, okay. I'm like, he go right back to sleep and he do it all over again.
All right. All right. Now talk about what is he like around fireworks or around the 4th of July, around New Year's? Does that have any kind of effect on him?
He can't listen to it. He cannot listen to it. I can recall one 4th of July. I was pregnant with our first child, and he like they were doing some big fireworks, and we was at my mom's house, and this was our first 4th of July with him. Like this was my first 4th of July with him. Mind you, when we met, we were like instantly like we would click, like we were in love. Like first night we met, we never left each other. So it was like he was around my whole family the 4th of July, and the neighbors they started doing big fireworks, and over there in Iraq and stuff like that, how they had the fireworks and it's bright, this and that. And I guess he saw the fireworks and he went in my mom's kitchen and got a knife, put it in his mouth, started crawling in the grass on the golf course. And I'm pregnant, and my brothers and them are like, Rita, like, what to do? What to do? I'm like, I'm not going out there looking for him. Y'all crazy. I'm like, y'all go. And they were like, seriously, they were concerned. And they're like looking at me like I was joking. I said, I'm not. I was like, he'll be back. And literally, he came back 10 minutes like it was nothing, put the knife down, and said he wanted to go. When he got home, I stayed back, of course, because I was with my family and everything. But when I got back home with him, he was sleeping. He woke up and he didn't remember nothing. Nothing.
Didn't remember a damn
He
thing?
didn't remember anything. He didn't believe me. So when he met up with one of my brothers, and my brothers told him what happened, he was like, "You lying?" Like, he didn't believe it. It got so bad, I had to call his mom over because like he was asleep, but then he was still like, because they were still doing the fireworks, so he was still like acting out. So I had to call his mom over. So his mom came over and she sat there until he fell asleep. And he didn't remember anything the next morning. Nothing.
That sounds like a deep case of PTSD then. I know it was going down that serious. Let's talk about some of the more difficult topics, all right? Like when they come back from war, are they still, or is he still somewhat of a violent person,
Yes.
or a dangerous
Yes.
individual, or
Yes.
could you talk about that for us?
Which part? All of it? Some of it?
All of it.
Um,
Whatever you're willing to reveal.
okay, ask me a question. I tell you no lie. What can I say? The violence. Yes, the violence. You have to answer them a certain way. You cannot be like, what this or what that, or what you do. Like, they get offended. And like, you know how you joke with people and calling them names? Like, they could take it, but to a certain extent. Like, for one time, I watched this military movie with him. I forgot what it's called, but the guy on there was saying F base. And he was saying it to the Marine. And, we was laughing and joking and everything like that. So I was like, what would you do if I called you an F face? And I started calling him, and he's like, okay, now calm down. Like, I don't like that. Like, don't talk to me like that. But I'm like, we're joking. So it's a lot of things you cannot do that you would normally. We can't pillow fight. Can't do none of the pillow fighting. Can't, how some wives mush their husbands in the head. You can't do that. And because he has PTSD and he has memory issues, like, I could be like, he could take a nap. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to go to my mom's house. And I'll tell him that you can't do that no more. You have to text and leave a note because they do forget. Don't forget. Like, you have to tell them you have to tell them if you're going to the store, or if you're stopping off at this place, or if you're stopping off here, like, you have to let them know. Because they're like, they want to know like everything.
Okay.
And so like it's like it does get bad. And before we got married, he let me go to the VA and he let me speak to his doctors, and the doctors were telling me like, yeah, he's going to get worse. Like, we're not, like, he's going to get worse. And they was explaining to me because we was talking about getting married, and I was like, you know what, I can deal with it. I got this. Like, if you love someone, you can deal with it. Like, it's hard. It's very hard. I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat like, oh, we had the perfect marriage. Oh, we're so in love. This no. He doesn't go out with me and the kids as much because he's always like looking around, and it's like sometimes I felt like I was single. Like, yeah, I can have my wedding ring on, but you still feel single because he's not with you. Like, there's times like when I would go to the kids' school and they'd be like, they just thought it was me. And then when I started sending him up to the school because I started working, because I was a stay-at-home mom, they'd be like, oh, you're the dad? Like, oh, you're married? Like, people shout like, oh, you are married? Like, oh, like, you're not just wearing a ring. So it's a lot that goes on with having a veteran, especially when it has PTSD. When they get mad, they call you names. They make you feel worthless. Your self-esteem goes to dirt, and you just, it's hard. Like, I was in this place where like I didn't think I was worthy. I didn't think I was pretty enough. I didn't think, nobody would want me after being with him because I felt like I was damaged, but I loved him. So, when you love someone, you deal with it, because that wasn't the person I met when we first started. He didn't have like none of that. Like he was like Prince Charming, like opening up the doors, and I come home from work and it's dinner already. It's just like it's a lot, and people don't realize that the spouse does deal with a lot.
And that's why
Like
we have you on. That's why we brought you on, the military spouses.
does deal with a lot. Like I like you know what? I was a stay-at-home mom. I love taking care of my kids. I love being there for them. I love being at all the events and everything. And I love like taking care of him and being there for him. But I started working, and because they're old enough, they're in school. So like what I'm gonna do during the day. So I work during the day, but I do work from home because when they're so used to mommy, they want mommy home. So when they come home, I'm still here, and daddy's here too. But I still take care of them.
Take care
But
of them in what way?
everything, like I do the cooking, I do the cleaning. He do what the man's supposed to do. He takes out the trash. I still deal with the kids. I still act like I'm a stay at home mom because that's something I like. I like taking care of him. I like taking care of the kids because that way I know it's done right. And
Okay.
when him PTSD, then they're not always patient, and like the littlest things could set them off. And like the kids are always coming to me, mommy, can I have this? Mommy, can I have that? And I'm like, go ask, daddy's right there. No, I don't want to ask daddy. I want to ask you. I'm like, why do you want to ask daddy? I don't know. I just want to ask you. I'm like, go ask daddy. Like I have to force them to go ask their dad for stuff. Like, stop coming to me. Daddy's right there.
Hmm.
But having PTSD, yes, they're very verbally abusive. They are.
Okay.
And you got to have a thick skin to deal with it. I have 5 brothers. Like, okay, we could go toe to toe. Like you have them, and look, after being married to them for 14 years, like, okay, you're a Marine, I'm a Marine wife. Let's do this.
That's your attitude?
Yeah, I learned from you. If I could take your mouth, you could take my mouth.
Wow. All right. All right. Now, how are they with the kids? How are war veterans with PTSD? What are they like? What is your husband from firsthand experience like with the kids?
In the past, he didn't really like deal with the kids as much because of his PTSD. He was scared of hurting them, or like they can't sleep in the bed. Like if they sleep in the bed, like our youngest, she still sleeps in the bed with us, but I sleep in the middle because he's like, oh, I have dreams. Why is she sleeping in the middle? I'm like, okay. So, like, he's very paranoid of hurting them, like if he in his sleep or something like that. And he's like, he's not the big disciplinarian. I do the discipline. He's more like, Reed, stop, relax, calm down, stop yelling at them, please don't yell at them. I'm like, he's a big teddy bear when it comes to them. He can't tell them no, but when I ask for something, he can tell them no. A Marine needs, I'm put like this, every Marine needs a little girl. Because
Wow, that's a big statement.
yes, I promise you, because when I found out I was pregnant with my first one and they said it was a girl, I just looked at him for his reaction. He was happy. He was jumping up and down. Yeah, yeah, it's a girl, it's a girl. Second one, he was happy it was a girl. I'm like, I want my boy. Like, okay. But our daughters, they bought the teddy bear out of him. He's a big teddy bear when it comes to them. Very protective. Very, very protective. Like, I fear for people who mess with his kids. Like, I really do. He's a big teddy bear when it comes to them. I give him that. He is a good dad. He may not could be there mentally all the time, but he makes up for it in other ways.
All right. Now, can you talk about what are they like after all they've seen and done? What is he like in terms of his emotions? Is he emotionally numb, or is it hard for him to feel things with you? And do you notice any of that?
Yeah, with me, he's numb. distant. He'll tell me, like, 1 minute we could be like talking, haha, kikiing, and the next minute he's like, PTSD, I don't want to talk. And when he say PTSD, I don't talk to him, I don't bother him. The only thing you get out of me is, are you hungry? Or I left the plate in the microwave for you. That's the only thing he gets out of me. He don't. I won't say nothing else. I'll be scared to say anything else because I don't want to argue. They're quick to argue. Like, they're so quick to argue. They're like, they think anything you say to them, or if you're like telling them, oh, I think no, this should happen or that should happen, they think you're bad mouthing them or picking on them. So you have to be careful of not what you say, but how you say it. Like, sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I will text him what I need to say instead of having a conversation with him.
Okay. Now, is that something that works out better when dealing with war veterans? PTSD is maybe instead of verbal.
No, when I text, he still get mad and don't want to talk, or PTSD, this and that. But it's like, okay, I'm telling you how I feel, and I need to tell you how I feel, but I can't tell you because, for one, you probably won't listen and you'll walk off, and I can't get my point across. So if I text you, I can get my whole point across, and you can't walk away. You have to hear my whole, you have to hear everything I have to say. So you can't walk away. So that's when I tell him, I'm like, look, I'm going to text you how I'm feeling because you can't walk away. You have to read everything. And half the time, 9 out of 10 times, he does get upset, but I'm being honest. The only time I text him is like if it's something like we need to discuss marriage-wise. Anything else, I could talk to him about. When it comes to marriage stuff and like finances and things like that, text. I will not talk. I'll sit there silent. And he could talk, and after he get into talking, I listen. And about an hour later, he'll have like 3 or 4 paragraphs, and he'd be like, "You couldn't tell me this when we was talking." I'm like, "No," and that's exactly why.
Okay. Now, would you say that they are? Did you say that he's battling demons? Do you think that?
Yes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Cause like when you're battling demons, it's just like you're a whole different person. Like, compared to how you was when you first met a person, and then they have to really, really go through something for them to do a whole 360 on you. Like, really, like sometimes I could just look at him and he just looks so evil. Like, I'm like, sometimes I like him wearing sunglasses. I will not lie. Like your little thing back there with the sunglasses. Like, sometimes I like when you wear his sunglasses. But other times he's just like, he has that effort attitude. Like, he's ready to go to war with anyone. And I feel like that's the demon that's ready to come out. Like, ready to always, like, he's ready to fight and hurt something or do this or do that. It's just like, when he gets like that, I just gotta say, think of your girls. Like, your girls need you. Every little girl need their daddy. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care how mentally ill someone is. I don't care what the parents are going through. I don't care about any of that. Even if a man is fighting demons, he needs to fight for his little girls too. You can hate the mother. Y'all cannot get along, but you always stay in your kid's life. No matter what. The little girls need their daddies.
Okay. How talk about is he one of those types of veterans that are like really into war movies?
He used to be. I don't see him watch it as much. But sometimes I'm like, ooh, sometimes I come across a war movie. I'm like, ooh, let's watch this. And he'll be like, no, I don't want to watch it. He used to be like, I think around the holidays, he's more into war movies than now. Like, I could sit up here and watch an episode that has like people speaking, um, what's that word? What's Arabic? I can have people speaking Arabic and they, they're over there, they're shooting this and that. I'm like, turn it down or turn that off or change it, or I can't listen to this, I can't listen to that. So he used to be into war movies, but now he's really not into war movies, not as much.
Okay. All right. Now, what advice can you give any other spouses that are just meeting? Well, I'm sorry, anyone that's dating a veteran with PTSD, or any spouse that just recently married a veteran with PTSD. Is there any type of advice you can give them on what it's like being married to a war veteran with PTSD?
Being married to a war veteran with PTSD, you need to get used to them packing up and leaving. That's all they know how to do. When it gets tough, they pack up and leave. If you get into a disagreement and you say the littlest things, if you say get out, or I'm mad at you, or I can't stand you, or I want a divorce, they're going to believe what you say. Be careful how you speak to them. You got to understand, because of them being in the military, all they know how to do and all they done was pack and leave, pack and leave, pack and leave. It's time to go to Iraq, they pack up, leave, come back, pack up, leave, come back. So get used to them packing up and leaving. Get used to them being silent, because that's a lot. They're going to be silent. Find people, or find a group or some other women who are dealing with the same issues. I mean, I don't, because I dealt with it for 15 years, so I know how to deal with it when I get frustrated. What else? Communicate. You have to communicate. And if you're getting into this with the Marine who has PTSD and you really love and care for them, if you guys don't work out, if you guys do get a divorce, you're not seeing eye to eye, if you cannot be there for them, you don't need to be with them. Because at the end of the day, I always tell my husband, if we divorce, if if we can't make it together or anything, I said, I don't care if you get remarried. I don't care if you have a girlfriend. I don't care who you with. If you need me, call me. I'm always a phone call away. You're in jail, call me. You're in a mental hospital, call me. You're hurt, call me. Anytime, call me. I don't care if we're not together. I don't care if we're on bad terms. Call me. I will always be there, because for one, I do love him. I'm like, he has a sickness, but I do love him. I do care for him, because I know the good times. I know the bad times. He is the father of my 2 girls. And I'm so grateful for that, because I have 2 beautiful little girls and they're smart. So I always tell him to call me. You have to be there for them. You have to understand. If you don't understand what PTSD is, if you don't understand what they're dealing with, research it. Talk to someone about it. I talked to my sister about it. She's an RN. She dealt with patients with PTSD. There's plenty of times I went crying to her, asking her, do they normally do this? Do they normally do that? I research it. I speak to my uncle about it. My uncle talked to me because he was in the Marines, and they tell my mom certain things and what to look out for. If this happened, if that happened, if you need more help, reach out to the VA. They're good at helping. They will offer you help. They will offer you counseling. If things are not working, get counseling. If you love that Marine and you want to stick it out, get counseling. Don't give up on them, because a lot of people have given up on them because of their mental issues. Don't give up on them. Always, always be there. And I will always be there for mine. So find an outlet. If you're arguing, go jogging, go working out, do something. Talk it out. There's so much you can do. And if you're just getting into it, sit down and talk. Hey, I want to know this. I want to know that. Ask questions. Always ask questions. It shows that you care and you're interested and you're invested into the relationship. I could go on and on and on and on. But it takes a person with tough skin to deal with the Marine, especially one that has PTSD. I have tough skin because I have 5 brothers, and then I have even more tougher skin because I've been with him for 15 years. So really, nobody could say anything to me that will hurt my feelings no more. Not even him. Half the stuff he say, like, I'll laugh because I'm like, oh, he's on one of his PTSD moves. You have to have tough skin. If you don't have tough skin, I'm not gonna lie, it's not for you.
All right. All right. Do you have any additional last words before we end this pop-up show?
No, but thank you for having me.
All right. I appreciate you coming on. Really appreciate you expressing the views of a military spouse so that the thousands of other military spouses that are out there can relate to you and understand exactly what you're going through, and you're a voice for them. So I really want to thank you for taking the time. I know this was a difficult discussion that I wanted to, delve into, but you volunteered so nicely that I just thought it would make a great episode, and it did. And I thank you for your time. This has been episode 62 of the WarDawg Trail podcast. This was a pop-up show, unexpected, but something we wanted to drop for military spouses so that the world can get an understanding of what it's like for a wife to deal with a military veteran after they've been to war and after they are trying to make a life together or a family together. All right. Thank you very much, Rita. You have a good night.
You too.
All right. Our sponsors for the show, once again, were Reaper Apparel Co. Again, you can use my code, Sergeant WarDawg TV, and use that code to get 10% off your entire order. All right. Next, we have Peaceful Warriors. Peaceful Warriors is a nonprofit organization that takes veterans out to volunteer around the world. So if you find yourself as a veteran without a mission or without a purpose, Peaceful Volunteers could be the organization for you. Utilize your time and energy to volunteer to help the less fortunate around the world. And finally, First Form Outdoors. Remember, First Form is a fitness supplement company, and they are the company that can help you get that boost of extra energy that you need while you're enjoying your outdoor activities, whether that's hunting, camping, fishing, or shooting. First Form is the company to look to for your supplement, for your fitness supplements. All right. To find out more about what's going on with Sergeant WarDawg TV or the WarDawg Trail podcast, be sure to visit the website, sergeantwardawgtv.com. Visit our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, or if you want to stay the most up to date, always follow our Instagram page so that you can see what's going on with Sergeant WarDawg TV, the web series, or the WarDawg Trail podcast. All right. This has been Sergeant WarDawg for the pop-up episode number 62. Hope you enjoyed the show. We discussed being the spouse of a war veteran with PTSD with Rita. We really appreciate her for coming on to the show. Remember, this is the WarDawg Trail podcast, where we talk about difficult topics that are relevant to war veterans. All right. Hope you enjoyed the show. Salute.
Yeah. Run it back, 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 run it back. Lost through the bend, had to crawl back. Can't take no more L's, I need all that. Run off with a pack and get the dome crack. The 4-5 show, a nigga 4 flat. Run it back, 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 run it back. Quit that little drop, now you hustling. They counted you out, now you bubbling. Took you some losses, but bounce back. Now they feeling for you like you good crack. Run it back, 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 run it back. Lost through the bend, had to crawl back. Can't take no more L's, I need all that. Run off with a pack and get the dome crack. The 4-5 show, a nigga 4 flat. Run it back.